A couple of months ago, we raised our target price of Ackermans van Haaren from euro 188 per share to euro 200 per share. We maintained our buy recommendation and added it to the analyst top pick list by choosing it amongst all other holdings companies in the KBC Holdings universe. In this video, we'll go through the investment case, the most important aspects of AVH's entire portfolio, and our take on the long-term prospects of AVH as a group. AVH's overall portfolio can be categorized as investments in portfolio companies that have a dominant position or moat in their respective industries and geographies in which they operate in. The rising exposure to Asia will create a potential for outsized returns. The first most important sub-portfolio in AVH's overall portfolio is the Marine Engineering and Contracting division. It's made up of 4 companies: DEME, CFE, Green Offshore, and Rentaport, which has been renamed to Deep Sea Holding. Of these, DEME is the most important as it makes up the largest share of NAV. DEME engages itself in offshore wind installations, land reclamation, and also in dredging. The company is one of the big 4 dredgers in the world, with a fleet that is versatile and vast enough to handle very large projects. There is going to be a significant demand increase in offshore wind installations. Bloomberg estimates that by FY23 end, Europe, America, and Asia will collectively have around 8,000 offshore wind installations. Whereas this number is significantly expected to rise by FY30 to 27,000. And as stated before, DEME, along with its versatile and vast fleet, is in pole position to capitalize on this opportunity. The second most important sub-portfolio in AVH's overall portfolio is its private banking division, which is made up of Dellen Private Bank and Bank Van Breda. Both of these 2 companies have a very specific clientele, which is made up of opulent families or individuals or families who own businesses, are entrepreneurs, or who have their own practices. This helps both the banks charge a higher fee income compared to others while providing value-added services, and also potentially locking in multi-generational clients. There are 3 key distinguishing factors that separate DEME and Bank Van Breda compared to most other European private banks. The first is that the cost-income ratio at Dellen and Bank Van Breda combined is at 51% compared to the European average of 71%, thus implying that these banks are much more efficient than the average European private bank. The second distinguishing factor is that the gross fee income earned on the assets under management is at 1.05% for Dellen Private Bank and Bank Van Breda, whereas the European average is at 71 basis points, thus implying that these banks are able to capitalize more on their assets under management. And the final distinguishing factor is that no matter what the economic cycle is doing, these banks are able to attract gross inflows that keep steadily even rising. As of half year FY23, the gross inflows were at 2.2 billion, and we believe that these will come in line with the FY22 full year figure of upwards of 4 billion. The assets under management have been at 62.3 billion as of half year FY23, whereas we think that this value will reach, or has the potential to reach, the all-time high of 63.9 billion that was reached during FY21 end. Over the long term, there are 2 ways in which these private banks can grow. They can either grow organically and increase AUM while keeping cost-to-income ratio low, and also gradually increasing the gross fee income. An inorganic way to grow would be to acquire smaller asset managers, which they have done in the past, like JM Fin in UK. The third important sub-portfolio in AVH's overall portfolio is Nextensa, which is a mixed real estate player. By that we mean that it has an investment portfolio upwards of 1 billion euros, yielding upwards of 5.5%. Alongside this, the company also has a development business, which is more volatile and develops residential units as well as offices. However, due to the investment portfolio's highly predictable inflation-indexed cash flows, the overall earnings volatility of Nextensa is lowered, thus making it a very suitable investment to have during macroeconomic uncertainty. The fourth sub-portfolio in AVH's overall portfolio is its energy and resources sub-portfolio made up of CIPEF, Verdant Biosciences, and Sagar Cements. CIPEF and Verdant Biosciences directly contribute towards the UN Sustainability Development Goals. The final sub-portfolio in AVH's portfolio is AVH Growth Capital, which is currently made up of 16 companies, but with the upcoming acquisitions of Camlin Fine Sciences and iQuip, this will go up to 18 companies. The portfolio is comprised of companies that have high growth prospects, and some of the most notable ones are Adigens, which provides industrial automation, OMP, which provides supply chain management solutions, and Medica Bazaar in India, which provides healthcare services. In particular, Medica Bazaar has seen its valuation skyrocket from 255 million in FY21 to upwards of 700 million in FY22. AVH collectively owns 11% of Medica Bazaar. Finally, our overall long-term take on AVH is that most of AVH's companies have a dominant position in their markets or have a moat, which is irreplaceable. We believe that these companies will outperform their relative peers, and thus AVH will outperform its relative indices. We also believe that the dividend over the long term will grow at 5% unless for any unforeseen circumstances.